A good teacher does more than inspire a mind. They can inspire a life, such is the case in the life of Sydnee Dickson.
Whether they're famous or infamous, everybody talks about that one teacher who was a person of influence in their lives.
Growing up in an idyllic small town, she wasn't sure what she wanted to be. Her grandmother would soon provide an influence that would inspire a life of education for Sydnee. A life that has been dedicated to teaching students and helping teachers ever since.
I did not start out to be an educator. In fact, I wasn't even sure I knew anything about college. I was just a small town kid, living the dream, climbing trees, fishing, and I loved learning. And I would just devour books. My grandmother was my first and most important teacher in a little two-room schoolhouse. It was really, I think, that early start as a student with my grandmother.
She was also blessed with caring parents who cared for their family and community that provided a powerful example of service and a love of learning.
My parents were very civic-minded. They were high school graduates. They were always really engaged with the community, and my mother especially loved learning. She was always reading, involved in a lot of organizations in the community, and I think that instilled in me the desire to make a difference.
So it didn't take much to light the fire of education in her life.
I took an education class and got hooked when a little brown-eyed boy climbed up on my lap and asked me to read him a story. I just really was hooked, and I found that it was my calling. My career started as a young teacher right out of college when I was 21 years old, and I started teaching 4th and 6th grade. While I was teaching, I felt the need to get an advanced degree to help me with counseling families and students. So that's how I entered into the University of Utah graduate program of school counseling.
Sydnee's counseling degree began to open doors in school administration, and her drive to help teachers and their students was only magnified.
While doing that, I just became so interested in research and really thinking about how I could advance the bigger picture of public education, and again came to the University of Utah for a doctoral degree. I've been in education quite a while, and somebody said, "Have you ever thought of coming to work at the State Office of Education?" And I said, "No, who would do that? That sounds boring." But it was really about supporting teachers, and I love that work. It was really the core of my passion, was helping support new and veteran teachers to become their very best.
Since 2016, Sydnee has been Utah State Superintendent of Public Instruction. And while that was never in her early plans, she has impacted students and teachers across the state.
My plan has always been to just make a difference wherever I land. Whatever role I found myself in, it was always about, first and foremost, developing relationships and then helping people see their potential.
And just like the grandmother that influenced Sydnee's life, her passion is to do the same for each student in this state, no matter their circumstances. That has never been more evident than this past year during the pandemic. Sydnee has worked tirelessly to continue to bring education to our state students, whether online, hybrid, or in person, and to deal with the challenge of getting meals to many students who rely on schools for food, putting a lifetime of education and compassion to the test.
When all is said and done, I hope that people say that I cared deeply about the success of each individual student. I care deeply that regardless of demographics and background, that every student can come through a Utah school and have a quality experience and be set up for success. I care that every student leaves our system and has opportunities for their future. It's all about working together to help unlock a person's potential and help them see the possibilities for their future.